join us for the Monday check-in. Chief Market Strategist at bullseyeoption.com. So, Alan, last week got a little bit complicated with our rotation. We spun so fast, the S&P dropped. What do you think? Back to tech we go?
Well, what's the saying? As much as things change, everything remains the same. Nothing's changed. Nothing changed. We had a profit-taking pullback, and we had some money move. You know, that money's not made or lost. It just moves. I got a whole bunch of these things. And we saw profit-taking and money move into other plays that have better risk-reward. But we're seeing a comeback here in a lot of things. And what's important for me is we held the 50-day moving average in a lot of the big seven. And then the NASDAQ itself came right down to that support point. And we're bouncing off it. And there's some gaps up above. So let's see how the markets react when we fill these gaps. That's going to tell us a lot about how the market acts and reacts.
Okay. And VIX coming back off from 16. It did wake up a little bit last week, though.
Yes, it did wake up. And it's interesting that the market, the VIX was moving, but you saw no flight to quality. You saw the treasuries, have really no reaction. So that's, as an old school trader, that's why I measure, if the VIX is just a temporary situation, a little bit of an unwinding. And now we're seeing the typical whack-a-mole that every time the VIX pops up, it gets whacked back down. It's interesting that the VIX was in movement, ahead of, any of these political changes. And now that, the facts are out there that you're seeing the VIX relax and heading back down. Again, let's remember that 2017 low in the VIX is 850. So we're 60% above that right now. So there's still a lot more downside in the VIX.
Okay. So short-lived, buy the dip sounds like, but which one's your favorite dip to buy, Alan?
We're in the middle of earnings season, and we cannot ignore that. Earnings growth right now is at 10%. There should be no complaints. No complaints. Tesla's coming out today. They're expecting, what are we looking at? About a 10% measured move, 9% as well. So, let's see. And it's interesting to see how the markets reacted. You had Ben saying that, with Trump, that oil, there'll be more production. Actually, we produce more oil now than any country has in the history of the world right now. So take that with a grain of salt. And so what are the Saudis going to do? I don't know. But to get back to, reading into the politics, I trade what I see. And if you read into the politics, Trump actually said he's going to put electric cars out of business and Tesla's up 11%. So you explain all that. None of it makes sense. You have to trade what you see, not what you think.
Okay. The narrative weaving is getting pretty impressive on some of these things. Yeah, exactly. All right. So why Paramount, of all the great stocks in the American trading universe, Alan, why one that needs a buyer?
All right. Well, I'm going to give you a why not. Okay. Again, I trade what I see. Now, I see money flow in this stock. I see an extreme amount of money flow. So that typically, gives you some idea that some smart money has some strong opinions on this stock. We made a bottom formation here. It's 90% off its 2021 top. Again, I'm not getting into the minutia of what they do in streaming and takeovers and mergers and all that. I trade what I see. This stock's been trading between 10 and 15 for the year mostly. 10 is a great support point. Like I said, we have also the money flow into that. You also have the bullish divergence where it made new lows, but not new highs and implied volatility. That's a sign that a stock is bad enough to buy. Okay, bad enough to buy, but with a very specific indicator in the fact that the shorts have run out of strength. And logically, when a stock makes new lows, you think the volatility should be increasing, and it didn't. So that's a sign that a bottom is in, and you can see some short covering. And all we need is a modest move in this stock, and we can get this to reverse in a big, big way.
All right. Okay. And rumor is that there are interested, I don't know. Now that we've kind of got clarity on how this deal is going to end, because it did come off at the end of last week.
It's value.
I was going to say good things about the chart, but then I just realized
Let me tell you about value. I saved this last one for you. Okay. I saved this last one for you because I knew you were going to be skeptical right off the bat. The PE is 10.
Right.
Okay? If you just look at math, that's an inexpensive stock. It's half of what the market is, right? Bullish versus low money flow, great technical bottom, trading sideways where if we get to the 12.5 midpoint here of this range, then it sends it to the range top at 15. If we break out of the range, then we're getting a 20. I'm not even trying to be that aggressive. So what I'm looking at is a January option. Again, it's as much of how I play as what I play. A January in the money $10 call is trading for about $2. It's $1.50 or was $1.50 in the money this morning. Okay, so the expiration break even is 50 cents, and I've got 6 months of time. So guess what? I'm not going to be watching the news on Paramount. I'm not going to be scoping through their, all the reports trying to figure out what's next. I'm trading what I see, and this is a great risk-reward play with plenty of time for development and a modest move to 14. The option gains 100%.
Okay. All right. Well, you're looking for movement with big tectonic plates of narrative, because it's basically the deal, the merger. So, like if the stocks...
Or it could be a relief rally. You don't know.
Sure. Hey.
It's not my job to figure this out. I don't care. I don't care. All I see is this moving up to 15 again, and we're going to have 150% gain.
All right. Hey, can you name me one show on Paramount, Alan?
No, I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. Like, I traded some stocks with you that I didn't even know how to pronounce their name.
Right.
As long as they have a lot of buyers, a lot of sellers, and great liquidity, I can trade my trading plan. I don't need to know. I trade the chart.
All right. I just wanted to see if you knew a show.
No.
I only know a few, but
no.
I'm more of an HBO guy. All right. Thank you, Mr. Duckman.
Thank you.
All right. Appreciate the trade. All right. Buying the money calls for Paramount. When we come back, we're going to talk